What's up, guys? I just been on my grind, already banged out about 100 comments. This is pertinent information that I think will be useful to you from all of my analysis. I don't think anybody is doing more activity on Skool than I am right now. I don't know a single person who is on here for 16 hours a day. I will very quickly overtake, the people who have been on the platform. It's only a matter of time. I'll explain why I believe I will, but that should be pretty obvious. So the real limitation, man, is the speed at which you generate a relationship. That's not a Skool specific thing. That's a human, thing, period. Whether or not it's on Facebook or X or TikTok, we follow people that we connect with in our hearts and in our minds. In our mind, it's interesting, useful, valuable, okay? Different. In our heart, it's relatable. I see myself in them. I'm attracted to them. You know what I mean? So we want to have a marriage between the heart and the mind. The real bottleneck is the speed at which you actually form a relationship. Now, let me give you a very crude example, but it's like if the guy's only singular motive is to have sex with a woman that he meets, in the first night, that's not so different than a guy who's trying to close a sale within an hour or two. You call it a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Now, that's a crude, analogy, but, many people feel that way. You feel like you're the girl and they're the guy and they're just trying to hurry up and get your money or take your pants off, So there's no romance, there's no foreplay, there's no intimacy, there's no chemistry. It's just literally immediately like, hey, let's hop on a call. So we need to have a little, the irony is that you can't really hack a relationship. You can't really artificially speed up a relationship unless there was a synchronicity and just a flow of conversation. I'm doing so many collab calls these days that, you begin to attract people that it seems like your minds are connecting way faster, way more than, most other people. That doesn't mean you have to have a huge mental connection to somebody to get a client, but you can coach people that you don't even really feel that much of an attraction to. You can go on a date with somebody and have zero interest in them. I mean, you still could. Do you know what I'm saying? You can do business with people that you may not necessarily be in love with and not feel like they're your best friends. Okay? You could still do business. So anyways, I'm going through every single post in this group called Business Builders Community. It's in the top 10 on business. This guy, he's like Forbes 30 under 30. So he obviously already has a huge list and past results. He just hit the rocket, but I'm pretty sure this guy's already like a millionaire or multimillionaire. So he already has a mega, funnel. So you'll see from influencers that they grow their group super fast because they're funneling their email list and their social media lists to Skool. I'm teaching the opposite, how to build exclusively on Skool, only on Skool, without using any email marketing, no website, and no social media funnels. So as I begin to get more and more success, that's what I'm going to highlight. You can get your first high-ticket client from Skool without a website, without any social media, without an email list. I'm going to teach you how to do that. You go through, hundreds, if not thousands of comments a day. That is the only thing that you can do on Skool. You can either DM, which is limited, or you can comment. That's all you can do. That's all you can really do on social media, period. Even if it's Facebook or, TikTok, you comment, you share, you like, you reply to stories. That's all you can do. All you can do is message or comment. So the success to getting high ticket clients on social media is you're just going to comment and reply to more people than everybody else. Okay, we can first win on volume. If I was making a YouTube video, that would be the big picture volume. You can just do more than everybody else. I'm already at 100 comments. I'm going to try to get to 600 comments today. I got to go run to the store because my cats ran out of food. but and I want to take a little bit of a mental break. I have the focus where I can just power through it. Okay. So there's going to be nuanced strategies. What do I say on the comments, if anything? Should I comment anyways just to have the first touch or not? My advice is you might as well try to comment on every single post in someone's group. You might as well try to. I will make an attempt to comment, even if it's just a welcome or even if it's just a validating comment, because that's your first touch in marketing. At least you don't even become real to somebody if you've never even commented on a post. So the first post is honestly sometimes just totally nonchalant. Now I exist. I exist in their mind because I exist now as a notification and a sentence in their mind. Now you exist. You're trying to be everywhere at the same time in everybody's brain as a marketer. That's what marketers do. Okay. Now, I will try to comment a genuine response if I found the person was interesting or relatable, but 65% of posts on Skool is just like someone sharing their inspiration or a win or a story. Like they're not asking a question. It's just them sharing something about themselves. So what do they want? They just want reactions. Congratulations, welcome. You did it. I'm so proud of you. That's all they really want. So that's all you really have to give them. You know, if it's a question, Q&A, then you can actually respond and then ask them a follow-up question. You can ask questions to get threads going, but many times it's not appropriate to do that. When is it appropriate to actually ask them a question to deepen a thread on a comment or a post versus you just post something like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the group. I will begin to start crafting like templates on all the different things that you could ever say to somebody because, there's really only about 10 things you can actually say on a comment. You're just recycling one of those 10 things over and over and over again. Do you know what I mean? So I will begin to do that and make, kind of more templates. That'll probably be a bonus course, maybe for like level 5 in my group. But yeah, I mean, dude, I'm going through hundreds and thousands of posts a day on Skool. Well, what happens when you run out? You're never going to run out. And like, I'll be totally honest, I think smaller groups are better for connection than larger groups. I think once the group already has 1,000 plus, it has now become like very big. When the group becomes very big, like, yes, there's more comments, but you notice that a lot of the comments are not really conversation starters. You're trying to start conversations. Do you know what I'm saying? The only way to really build a relationship with somebody is to have a conversation starter, or you just saw them so many freaking times, like that cute girl in your math class. There was no conversation starter, but you make eye contact, you see them daily. Do you know what I mean? Either there's just a tremendous frequency of seeing someone. You keep seeing the cashier at the coffee shop and she's really cute and you finally gather up the courage to go say hi to her or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But you're not going to get her phone number if there was no conversation, or you have to be so good, make them laugh, tell a joke, invite them to something. Do you know what I mean? There's really only like 10 things that you can ever really say to anybody at any given time in life. So I think it actually is helpful to talk about communication patterns. There's really only 10 things you could ever say to somebody, guys. I mean, if I'm totally honest, we could break it down. I'm not going to tell you the 10 things in this video, keep some suspense going. But seriously, if you see a girl at the gym, hey, you ask them questions about the gym. Hey, can I use this equipment? You can straight up just like trying to talk to them, but it might weird them out. Hey, I see you around here a lot, just wondering if I can introduce myself. That's honest because that's what you're trying to do, or you can crack a joke, or you can get introduced to them through a common friend. Oh, hey, I think my buddy, Jason, so I just wanted to, say hi, kind of ask you something. You can ask them a question. You can ask them for advice. You can just like point out something random. Like, think about how little kids talk in elementary school when you were like 4 or 5, You talk about what are your favorite games, TV shows. Like, human beings connect on interesting things. So if there's no interesting conversation, then there's no relationship forming. Relationships are formed from interesting conversations that eventually kind of become more valuable. They become more relatable, they become more valuable. We like the same things: spiritual healing or business or, making content or travel, you know. So we connect on interesting things first, and then we deepen on value. Sometimes it's just a vibe, a feeling, that you can't really explain, but you feel a mental connection to somebody. You have the same goals. So when we do collab calls, I resonate more with people who have a strong desire for success. I can help someone who is self motivated because they need some skills. Oftentimes, I'm just providing the skills. That's what took me my whole life to figure out. I had to learn certain things: how to sell, how to market, how to generate traffic, how to close, how to schedule meetings, how to book calls. All of these are skills that need to be learned. There's probably about 30 to 50 skills that I think everybody should figure out if you want to sell high ticket. And I could make a course on that, or we could go over that in a coaching call. But anyways, man, relationships are formed based on interesting conversations, viral conversation starters. I'll probably make some scripts for that. What is a viral thing to talk about with somebody? But you'll notice, like, if you start going through hundreds of posts a day, half or even more than half, it's not really something that you could have a conversation about. So when you're posting content, try to post with the end result in mind. Like, yeah, it's nice to just get one-liner like feedback. Congratulations, proud of you, let's go, woohoo. But try to actually start a conversation. You know, Interesting conversations are the currency of human relationships. Human relationships are the currency of social media success, MRR, course sales, affiliates, coaching, and events. I mean, it has to be. So if you're interested in this kind of business model, it's totally a social energy and it's totally about relationships. And the fuel for relationships is interesting conversations, and mutual interests, mutual goals. Okay. You're just trying to duplicate and replicate this like DNA. You're trying to duplicate and replicate this like 10 times a day. We're trying to find 10 people that we're having really interesting conversations with every single day. If you can do that, eventually those 10 people begin to be more qualified. They have the money to hire you. They're looking for a problem that you can solve. You're building a magnet, like almost like in your brain, like your third eye, that is going to start pulling in those 10 people. Every day you're increasing the power of that magnet. I'm looking for people that I can help, that have the money, and that we are compatible. We have a mental connection and we are able to have interesting conversations, and that's how we connect. Do you know what I'm saying? So you are trying to generate and manufacture interesting conversations, and you are looking for those 10 people every single day. Don't delude yourself. If you're not, then I don't really know what you're doing on here. You're just having fun or goofing off, messing around. You know, 10 people to join your group every single day is pretty phenomenal. Eventually it could be hundreds, but we're still looking for those 10 people every single day. Of those 10 interesting conversations, maybe 3 to 6 of them will get on a call with you. If you can get on 3 to 6 calls, you can close a new client a day. You really could. That's my goal. I want a client a day. You can price at whatever. Some price low at first, $200-$300 real quick, $500, a little bit longer. Your first 1,000. I'm pricing at around 2,000 because I feel like you need to price a little bit higher, because if you're only pricing, 2 to 500, like, you're just going to get used to that. You're going to attract people at that budget. But I mean, it's just like whatever feels comfortable for you. There are people that sell at 10K and they are constantly talking to like millionaires and like very successful people. So it's whatever feels comfortable for you. But if you're going to coach someone in a country, that is not US dollars, then you may sell them $200 to $300 of coaching, or five. Like, I will sell any amount of coaching. It's just, I will scale that level of coaching to what your needs are. There's only so much you can do in like 2 or 3 hours with somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyways, guys, the currency is, we're looking for 10 interesting conversations to manifest a day. That's a good goal. It does not have to be business related, but you still want to be having 10 very interesting conversations a day. All of the work that we're doing, commenting, posting, replying, making content, is to find those 10 people. Very rarely is it just going to automatically happen where they just walk straight up to you. You don't even know who they are. Hey, I saw this video and here's money. I want you to coach me. Very rarely. Or I've been following you for a while. I bought your course. That doesn't happen that often, guys. You can't count on that to happen. You know, you have to sow out the seeds. I'm willing to connect with 10 people a day. I'm willing to do 10 calls a day, dude. I'll do calls all day long, every fucking day. Okay? All of the work is to manifest those 10 conversations. It's just, I want to keep mashing this because I think you guys really need to focus on this. I mean, this is a high ticket mastermind. You sell high ticket by having 10 very interesting, dynamic conversations a day. That's the goal. It's fun. You're enjoying talking to them. There's a flow. There's a mental chemistry. There's a rapport. We try to get half of them, 3 to 6 of them, to do a call with us. Of those 3 to 6, we try to get one new client a day. You really can do this. Even at $1,000, if you worked 30 days, that's $30K a month, man. $2,000, that's a $60K a month. I believe that every single one of you can do it. You can do this. But the boring part of the job is, bro, to get 10 very interesting conversations a day, if you're really going to go full time, you may have to actually go through 10,000 posts to find 10 people. I'm not joking. I think you do need to go through about 1,000 posts to find one hot, super hot, highly resonating person that you really vibe with. Then you have to target them. Then you have to comment. Then you have to try to build a relationship with them. So to get one super interesting conversation out of 1,000 posts, that means probably 10 to 50 of those 1,000 posts were like kind of interesting to you. Many times it's not 10,000 different people doing 10,000 posts. It's probably like 3,000 to 5,000 people posting sometimes 2 or 3 times. Do you know what I mean? Usually, this is why I'm working on getting some tools made for me that actually scans the group and shows you of the last 1,000. I want it to do 1,000 batches at a time. If you're a programmer, maybe you can help me do this. But this would be a really good tool for you to sell, and I'll even help you sell it. If you give me the franchising, you give me the key, and I'll collect affiliate commissions for you. If you can build this out, let's do it. But you need to know who is posting every 1,000 batches of posts in a group. Who are they? You would go to those people first because they're the most active in the group. So that's a faster way of just finding people who are like really active in groups. Once you go through every single post in a group and you fully exhaust the group, then it's time to rank the group. You have a master list of every single group that you're in. If it's not interesting or valuable enough to go through all of the posts, say, I've never really seen a group that has more than 10,000 posts. Okay. Some of the gigantic ones, like the 100,000 size tech groups, probably do have more than 10,000, but I'll let you know. I'm going through every single fucking group on here. I think you'll actually have the most success in smaller groups, like 100 people or less. Those are being created every single day. You'll never run out of groups to go through. I think actually you'll do better in smaller groups, 100 or less, 300 or less. But, for the time being, it is valuable to also go through the big ones, 1,000 people or more. It's valuable because you start seeing how these big groups kind of form. But like I said, half, even 65%, they're just sharing inspiration, and doing a welcome post and just like sharing random content about themselves, and they're not making content to start interesting conversations. So most people just are not intentional. They don't really know what they're doing, and they don't understand the process of growing a community and increasing a following. You're trying to have highly resonating impressions with people. That's marketing, 101, maybe marketing 201. You want to connect with somebody's heart and somebody's soul. So how do you do that? Through content. And then how do you do that? Through comments, and then DMs, and then calls, and then coaching calls. That's all it really is, guys. It's 4 things. It's comments back and forth. Maybe it's DMs. Maybe it's hop on a friendly call, and then let's hop on an actual professional call. There's only 4 steps of this. Okay, we're trying to speed up steps number 1 and 2. We're trying to speed up all 4 steps as quickly as possible, but sometimes it just takes time. They may want some romance. They may not want a one night stand, but I know guys who are able to close, 500, 1,000 or more in a day, sales cycle of less than a week. It's possible. So don't discount yourself. But I feel like the typical sales cycle on Skool or in a community is probably going to be 2 to 3 weeks. If you're really, really busy and focused, it could be 7 days or less, in my opinion. Anyways, I'm going to keep going through the next. I'm going through, there's only 1,000 posts in this group, and it's a top 10 group in the money niche. Once I go through that group, I'll probably stay in the group because it's a top 10 group. But obviously, the guy who owns the group, like, he does like coaching and like business coaching. So, you don't want to like disrespect the admins. You don't want to poach, but you're just seeing, like, is there anybody in there? There's 2,000 members of the group. Is there anyone in there of the 2,000 that we would have highly interesting conversations, or, they would be attracted to me, my content, my energy, my brand, and my, offer? That's all it really can be, guys. Anyways, don't be discouraged. Don't be overwhelmed. It's very simple. If you want to get 10 people to talk to every day that could manifest as 3 to 6 calls, then you're probably going to need to go through about 10,000 posts a day. Okay. Maybe you can do half, but if you're not going through 1,000 posts a day, I don't think you're ever going to like get enough traction. Go through 1,000 posts a day and time it. Time how long it takes for you to go through 1,000 posts a day. Try to comment on as many of them as possible. But, if it's not that interesting, maybe 10,000 is impossible. I don't know. I haven't even really been tracking how many posts I go through in a day. Maybe like, I will literally try to do this tomorrow. I will try to go, like, say 12 hours straight, just constantly going through posts organically. Try to comment on the ones that are worth commenting on, but you're trying to exist in all of their minds. You're not going to exist in their mind unless you actually leave a comment. So I'll try to comment on like 80% of the posts. 20% it's just completely irrelevant. Like someone that does software engineering, they're probably not going to pay for high ticket. I mean, I don't know. Use it at your own discretion. I would say maybe it's pointless to even comment on that post. Maybe you try to comment on 100% of posts. I think it's kind of pointless. Maybe 50 to 75% of posts, try to comment on like at least half. Even if it's just a word, it's better to just type a word. At least now you exist in their mind rather than you don't exist in there. They don't know who you are, right? It doesn't hurt, but you don't want to be so robotic that you look like a spammer either. So I don't know. You have to play around with like what percentage of all of these posts am I even going to engage on? We could talk about that. These are just now OCD kind of nuances. Anyways, I'm going to go run to the store. I'm going to finish. I'll literally track. I'll tell you, I'll do it in batches of 100. And then I'll tell you how much time it takes to go through 100 just totally organically. I'm not botting. I'm not farming for likes. I'm trying to genuinely leave comments if I think it's worth commenting on. I'm trying to generate interesting conversations, guys. The only thing that matters is 10 interesting conversations that manifests into ideally 5 new members and ideally 3 to 6 calls. To get 6 calls, you probably need to get like 10 to 20 members a day. Do you know what I'm saying? So in the beginning, 3 is a good number. 3 calls, 3 highly interesting connections, 3 new members. Try to book 1 to 3 calls with those 3 members, collab call, intro call, welcome call, whatever you want to call it, So I will literally tell you tomorrow, how long does it take me to do 100? We'll do batches of 100 posts at a time, and I'll time every single batch of 100. I'm weird like this, but this is how you actually build a business, because it's like, unless you know what you're actually doing with your time, then like, what are you actually doing? You don't have a system. Okay, much love, guys. Hope you're having a good day today, and I'll catch you later.